So hi dear, this is an update after my Abramelin ritual, my second Abramelin ritual. And I've been trying to make that video about the final 2 months. But there is so much happening right now and things I have yet to understand and to learn. But I can tell you in quick words that it started off with a bang with that bomb detonation. And I felt so much angelical presence. And then I've been thinking about my weird reaction to that, since I got completely calm. Didn't panic, no nightmares, nothing. And people around me were in panic. And it was hard. Things shattered within my apartment as well, and that constance with at least 35 police cars and evacuation and fire trucks. And then we have also the constant news, since they torch cars constantly and so on. And my cat Prince has become really nervous after that incident, since this whole apartment shook. So he craves more attention from me, and sometimes when he gets scared he just wants to be in my lap, so I can't make any videos really that. But everything has its time, and he's 22 years old now, so he gets all the time he needs. And coming down from this second Abramelin ritual is far more difficult than the first time. The pressures of the outside world. Now they want me to get a letter, or not a letter, a confirmation from every bank that I have not been a customer or have no secret bank accounts and so on from them. And I tried before Christmas. And the problem is that if you're not a customer within a bank, they don't want you to even write you an email. And there is that bureaucratic catch-22 in this, that it is just that bureaucracy goes round and round and round, and I leave every paper, they checked all my accounts and I've done everything correctly. And they just don't want to believe that a person actually uses cash, that many of us do living on this street and in this area. It is stupid to go out with a credit card and buy anything, since you get robbed and it's not worth your life. So it's better to have a small sum of money in your pocket and give that away than to lose everything. And insurance is much higher in this area and all these other things. So I don't even bring this camera out with me usually unless there is a specific reason. With me, since I know that if I have a cheap phone, I just give it to them and that's it. There is no great loss, and there are nothing that I use it for except for making a phone call. So, and then there was that energy. We could see the Pollux star next to the full moon here in Norden last night. And all these weird phenomena going on in my life. Well, my cat Prince actually did the Abramelin with me, so I think that is why he downloaded the UFO app CE5. Either it was him or an angel or a demon. That is what I can say after the Abramelin, since I didn't know what CE5 is, so I wouldn't know how to search for an app with the name CE5. But it mysteriously appeared on my phone, and I couldn't make any videos until I had it removed, and it was really hard to remove that from my phone, since it took up space. It had guided meditations and maps and local alerts, and everything went on in my phone, and it was alien sightings here and there, and so on. But one of the most fascinating things during my Abramelin ritual, it was 3 days before the final day. And that was that I just felt and knew that God had been working silently within me. There was some sort of conclusion that I just knew. And I couldn't really pinpoint it what it was. But what I recalled was that God works silently within you, and when He's working silently, that is the period of time when you don't know anything, you don't understand anything, and you just long, but you still know. And this is the time when you are the most protected as well, since God works within you, so the devil can't see you either. And there was this whole thing that I understood, but I can't really explain yet. And I was really praying during my evening prayer that day, since I kept on going as usual, that I didn't really understand it. And then suddenly, this book finally hit me in the head. It fell down. And I've been looking for this book for 2 years, since it is one of my favorite books and I use it all the time. Since at least a couple of times a year I enter into the dark night of the soul. That is also called in magic Crossing the Abyss. I don't see that there is so much difference. And I always looked in within the 10 first, the dark night of the soul, and then we have the 10 more chapters, the terrors of the soul. So this has 20 instead of the usual 10 stages. And I never realized it, and I never looked into the back and thought, and it came clear that I was in chapter, which was it, 17. And let's see here, I marked it. Explains how this dark contemplation is a secret. 2, namely the secret and ladder, belong to the dark night of contemplation, of which we are treating. The 3rd, namely disguise, belongs to thee, and by reason for the manner wherein it conducts itself this night. As to the first, it must be known that is this line the soul describes this dark contemplation by which it goes forth to the union of love as a secret ladder, because of the 2 properties which belongs to it, namely its being secret and to its being a ladder. And suddenly I just knew that this was the meaning of the whole things. And suddenly I knew, since St. John of the Cross has been with me my whole life, entering into my dreams. And I first thought this since we had a similarity, he and I. He used to lay out at night watching the stars in the sky with his brother and listen to the sounds of nature. And that was what I always thought it was before, but I suddenly felt that he's been looking in on me and guiding me through this book my whole life. And then we have another magic thing that happened. I've always, as I talked about, I haven't understood why my mother hated me so much. And this got revealed to me a couple of days ago, and that's why I've been offline, since it's tumultuous for me. She had ordered a really expensive, a couple of $1,000 worth of numerology done on me. And it is this master numbers and that with Helen Blavatsky and all that I don't touch really. And I was given this book since I met a person who knew it to look into it. And suddenly it became clear, so I got the answer in this book. My soul number and People have asked me before, since I use the old numerology, but it came down to this: I can't give you the full map of what is done by a professional numerologist, what she paid so much money for, since it contains all my names and it's not good on internet. But my soul number, personality number and destiny number are 11, 22 and 33. And that might explain why I haven't ever wanted to look into the New Age stuff or anything with Helen Blavatsky, since it's belonged to my mother. And I stayed clear of her way. I created my own way with the old grimoires and the angelical callings, so she could keep hers. I didn't ever enter into hers, but she always thought I were, and she hated me for it. And is this the reason why she hated me so much, that I had the master numbers and she didn't? She had number 5. And it's quite confusing for me, and yet I feel that there is something, since this is revealed to me after the Abramelin, that this was the answer to why she was so hostile towards me. I didn't want to fight, but she accused me every day over the phone or by sending letters or appearing, knocking on my door and accusing me of things. Telling me that I stopped her and that I was the great obstacle and I had to move out of the way so she could practice her practice. And I actually never done anything, except that I asked God for help to stop her from doing evil and being so angry and hateful at people. But that's the only thing I done, and that was to ask God for help. And then I done binding of myself with the help of the angels to not getting too mad at her and trying to control myself. And it's been a long, hard road over more than 50 years of my whole life, always fighting that anger when you are falsely accused constantly. But now it seems like this shows why she was so obsessed with me. And she always accused me of being so much better. And I never even talked to her about anything. And I never said anything. And I never told anybody I was doing the magic. Well, my father knew, the priest knew, and some people knew. And I help people, but that is random people I meet on the street and in nature and so on. So I never been public, since I'm not powerful. The angels and God and Christ are powerful. I'm not, and I know that. So that's why I don't feel the need to do really anything unless I'm told so. And the archangels asked me to create this YouTube channel. Without it, I wouldn't ever even have started using the internet. So it's like what it is. I'm just waiting on my new marching orders every day. And I received quite a lot of questions about the Abramelin, but I can't find the words to describe it yet. But I can say that this crossing of the abyss, I was laying in a dark lake on a black night with mountains, quite triangular mountains surrounding me, in complete darkness, and suddenly the stars lit up, and the light from the stars filled my heart from every corner, and I felt so at peace, and I was in this dark water and didn't want to get up or ever return to this world. And then we had also those who are very gnostic. They say that you can't talk about the holy guardian angel the way you do. This is like meeting God, and it is so horrible. Aleister Crowley said it and all that. It wasn't the first time, and it wasn't the second. I go along with Abramelin the Jew. If you dedicate yourself to God and to his service, and you really try to connect to God, Christ, the Holy Spirit and all that, or just God in the Hebrew tradition, then, and you do it out of love, then you will find the Holy Guardian Angel of Love. But if you go into it to have domination over the whole world and you want to do different things I haven't even studied the demonic squares. They don't interest me, they never have. That then I wanted to dedicate myself to service and become a servant, and that's the way it worked for me, and that's probably why I received so much love. And then, of course, I had different weird experiences afterwards. Since I didn't want to work the squares and I didn't do that calling on the 4 demonic kings. But after my first Abramelin, demons suddenly appeared and asked me to break up their binding from another magician. I never done that since I don't interfere with others' practices. But I got really spooked maybe a week after my ritual. Well, during my night prayer, all 4 demonic kings came up from the floor. You don't have a circle, you have nothing. And they stood so I could feel their breathing on me, so close by me that I feared to breathe myself since my stomach might touch them. And I just told myself, keep on praying and focusing on prayer. No banishing, nothing. Just keep on going like they don't exist. And things like that has happened, that it seems like I'm trained to not react out of fear and not to react out of anger. I'm not sure yet, but this is what I believe it is, that I am trained to really learn to walk in trust and faith. So it is a truly different story, and I will do a real explanation of the last months when I find, since there was so much emotion, so much healing, so much love, and so much dark memories from my early childhood, from 2 years and before, and then there were always the trouble and the pressures from the world outside, not having an identity and all these things, and of course the explosions and the crimes around here and so on. But I will do a better video when I find the words. But since I'm still kept in the dark, I can understand some things but not everything yet, and that is what is happening right now. So I can't explain it better right now. But I love you all, and I hope you be inspired, and don't be afraid. If you search out for God with love, then the Holy Guardian Angel will be love. It's happened to me twice, and it isn't Crowley. And it isn't Damien Nichols or anybody of those who says that it is so horrible. It depends on who you are within your soul and why you do a ritual. If you are just honest, you can be insecure, but you just tell God, I'm insecure and I don't know where I want to go and what I want to do. God will listen to that as well. But the main thing is, this would be, if you don't do it with Abramelin, this would be the thing. Pray at least 2 hours a day directly from your heart, and study the Bible at least 2 hours a day every day for 6 months. Then you don't have to buy the book. And I guess the result will be just the same. And then there was that, no gossip, no TV, no music, no other books than the Bible. That's why the angel sent me so many different Bibles to study, otherwise I would have gone crazy. So be inspired, and I love you all. Bye for now.